Hey everybody, I'm Alan Schaefer at Custom Garden Solutions. Today's episode is the first in a series of episodes I'm going to be doing on growing broccoli and cauliflower. I'm in my indoor grow room just outside of Phoenix, Arizona. And if you're saying to yourself, I thought Alan was from Illinois, because that's where most of his episodes have been from. Well, then you need to catch up and go 2 episodes back and watch the episode entitled New Big Adventure and the most recent episode, New Arizona Garden. That last one, New Arizona Garden, is probably going to give it away, but if you're curious, go back and check it out. So I am here just outside of Phoenix, Arizona. I'm in my indoor grow room, and I'm going to sow some broccoli and cauliflower plants from seed. The first thing you need to know is I'm probably going to grow about 30 to 45 plants. I start my broccoli and cauliflower from seed indoors every year, and this year is going to be no exception. The first thing that you need to do is have a good soil mix. I'll share with you what kind of soil mix I use when I grow indoors, but you could probably get by with just some good, high quality potting soil. The first thing I use is Master Garden's Aquamax Premium Potting Soil. And I get it from a place called Menards, M-E-N-A-R-D-S, and it's a big box store out of the Midwest. And typically they run about $9.99 a bag, but you can get it for $7.99 a couple times a year on sale. The second thing I add is Sunshine Mix number 4. From Sungro, S-U-N-G-R-O. And you can definitely pick that up online. I know Amazon and a lot of other retailers carry it. I'll also add some coconut coir, some wiggle worm castings, some rock dust, and we'll talk a little bit later about how I add additional vermiculite. Although the Master Garden Aquamax and the Sunshine Mix number 4 already has a little bit of vermiculite in it. So the next thing I do is I put the soil in 16-ounce solo cups. And I've drilled 8 or 9 holes in the bottom. And if you're curious about, more detail about the mixes I use and drilling the holes, go to the episode called How to Grow Peppers Indoors from Seed. It was done 4 or 5 months ago, and I'll put a link to it up here and in the description so you can check that out. But bottom line is, I put them in solo cups, 16-ounce solo cups. I drill holes in the bottom, and I put them in these trays. This is a boot tray that I bought for $1.99. 2 of them fit perfectly on my shelf. I have a rigid 1-inch 10 by 20 tray that I put inside the boot tray. And then I have one of these flimsy, flexible, these are very common. You can pick these up at most garden stores, big box stores. 10 by 20 black trays. And the big reason for this is just to make it less flimsy, all right? And then I put it up on the shelf. I also have some floor runners, some plastic floor runners. You could use like some plastic, piece of wood, whatever you want. I just know that there's going to be some spillage, there's going to be some dirt dropping, and I just like to keep everything nice and tidy in the grow room. When you add the seeds, you might want to add 3 seeds and put them in a triangle. And I have plenty of space here. If you don't have a lot of space or a lot of time, I'm growing probably close to 45 plants. By putting 3 seeds per container, you almost guarantee germination. And if more than one emerge, just take the healthiest of the group, and you can either cut it off at soil level or gently tease it out of the soil. So you only have 1 plant growing per container. So let's put some seeds in some containers. And like I said, I'm just going to put 1, maybe 2 seeds per containers. I'm using Burpee Broccoli Emerald Giant Hybrid. In fact, I probably am going to do 2 seeds because these aren't the newest of seeds. These have been around for at least a year. So I've already done a few of these. Don't get too caught up in how deep your seeds are. You know, they need to be 3 or 4 times the size of the seed. For most seeds, for broccoli and cauliflower in particular, just put the seed on the soil, push it in lightly, maybe a 1/4 inch, and then just cover it up. So I just put it in one hand and I'm going to be adding 2. And I'll put them as close to the center as I can, but I'll put them about 1 inch apart. And since I'm doing 14 per tray here, for the most part, I'll just put them in and then rub them in. Oh. So I'm not too worried about putting more than a couple in. If these were fresher seed, I would go with probably 1. But if I put 2 or 3 in, it's not going to kill me to come out and thin them out and keep the healthiest one. And since I forgot which ones I did earlier, some might have 4 or 5. All right. So we want to kind of do some mass production here. So I'm going to just put as closest to 2 as I can in each one. And I'll go back after I've placed 1 or 2 in each one. Well, these are kind of maybe. After I put 1 or 2 in each one, and then I'll push them down a little bit and I'll spread them. I'll spread some dirt over it. So 1 or 2, push it down. 1 or 2. Actually, I'm putting about 2 in each one. All right. So then I'll just go through and I'll push it down and I'll spread some soil from the outside to the inside. So I'm just pressing it down, pressing it down, pressing it down. All right, so now I've added a seed or 2 to each of the 28 cups behind me. So these have all been done with broccoli. And you did the same for cauliflower. There's really no difference. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to put on the top level to keep the fungus gnats and to keep the moisture down and to keep it from being covered with mold or mildew. I'm going to take some fine vermiculite. And this is very hard to find, at least for me. If any of you can find it, please comment in the bottom. Tell me where you got it, because I need to get some more. I've only got 2 or 3 containers about this size left. I can easily find a coarse vermiculite or regular vermiculite, which is kind of a pebbly type consistency. This is more like sand. All right. And what I'll do is I'll just add and this is, I think, a soup spoon. I'll add about 1 spoonful per cup. This is really exciting stuff. There you go. All right, so I've added about a spoonful of fine vermiculite per container. This isn't required. This is, again, if you add all these little things I'm doing, it's just gonna lead to being a better gardener and having a lot more success and a lot less frustration. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna water from the bottom. And I'll take gallon jugs of water and I'll just fill it up. The first time it's gonna take about 3/4 of a gallon because your soil is dry. And that's probably a little less than 3/4, but I'll keep an eye on it and add it if I need to. So a couple things about watering. One is, I believe watering from the bottom is very important. Maybe a little different than other people do, but watering from the bottom helps keep mold and mildew off the top of the soil. Mold and mildew can kill germination of a plant. The other thing it does is it keeps the moisture away from the top of the plant and helps fight fungus gnat infestations. All right, so a couple things about watering. First of all, your plants have bacteria and microorganisms and fungi that are essential for healthy plants. Municipal tap water, on the other hand, has chlorine and chloramine and other chemicals that are meant to kill bacteria and microorganisms, so when you drink it, you don't get sick. Now, I'm not going to go on a diatribe about municipal water and what the government's doing to the water. That isn't my point here. My point is that if you can, you want to use filtered water, or you want to use a special filter that we'll talk about in future episodes for growing herbs and vegetables, or do what I do. In the morning when I get up and I have breakfast, I need to get some hot water. When I turn on the faucet, it'll take a half minute to a minute for hot water to start flowing out of the faucet. So I'll take a water jug and I'll fill it up while the water is getting warm. So chlorine and chloramine and some of these other chemicals will dissipate or go down in concentration over time. If you wait 24 to 48 hours, you can have a less concentration of those chemicals that are harmful to your plants. Now, another thing to consider is When you're running the hot water, it's coming from your hot water heater, and your hot water heater, the water may have been sitting there already for several days. So it's had all that time for the chlorine, other chemicals to go down in concentration and to dissipate a little bit. All right, so I've got 28 broccoli plants ready to go. Seeds are in, they're watered. I'll lower the lights down. Oop. To about an inch or two above the plants. And although the seed packet says 10 to 20 days for germination, it's been my experience in the indoor grow rooms that I have is that it'll be probably 7 to 10 days and we'll see germination and growth start happening. As I mentioned, this is the first in a series of episodes that I'm going to be doing on growing broccoli and cauliflower. So we're going to cover it from A to Z. We'll do an update when we get some germination and we get some plant growth happening, when we transplant out to the outdoor garden, when we deal with the environment outside and disease and bug pressure and other issues, and then when we harvest and anything else that comes up in between. I'm Alan Schaefer at Custom Garden Solutions. Our channel is all about helping you grow herbs and vegetables and all kinds of cool garden stuff so that you can live a healthier and happier life. If you're new to the channel and you want to learn all about growing herbs and vegetables and all kinds of cool garden stuff, then start today by subscribing and then hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything, because you never know what I'm going to be talking about next. We're going to have enough pepper. We're going to have enough broccoli to feed an army. My mouth doesn't want to work today. Easy for me to say. And now, the pepper.